Hello. Have you ever thought that small mistakes in a relationship can be a real obstacle to harmony and happiness? Most men don't even notice how they destroy their relationships by repeating the same mistakes. And this happens not because of a lack of love or desire, but because of a lack of understanding of themselves, their partner, and the very nature of relationships. In this video, we will not just talk about the 10 most common mistakes men make. We'll look at them through the lens of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that helps us maintain wisdom, calmness, and dignity in any situation. You will learn how a Stoic approach can make you stronger, more confident, and closer to the woman of your dreams. So, if you want to learn how to avoid these traps and build strong, healthy relationships, stay with me until the end. There are many interesting things ahead. Mistake number 1. Ignoring your partner's emotions. One of the most common mistakes men make in relationships is ignoring their partner's emotions. This can manifest itself in ways that often seem insignificant, from not reacting to her upset look to refusing to discuss topics that are important to her. Many men are convinced that emotions are a weakness and shouldn't be taken into account too much. But the truth is that ignoring your partner's feelings can destroy the trust and emotional intimacy that are the foundation of a healthy relationship. A woman whose emotions are ignored feels unimportant, unheard, and isolated. This can lead to resentment, frustration, and even conflicts that gradually accumulate. Men, on the other hand, often don't understand why their partner is exaggerating or dramatizing, not realizing that the problem lies in their lack of empathy. How to avoid this mistake? The key is to practice empathy and active listening. Stoicism teaches us not to avoid emotions, but to treat them with understanding and acceptance. This does not mean that you should solve all problems instead of your partner or always agree with her opinion. Instead, it is important to show that her feelings matter and that you are ready to understand them. Here are some practical tips. Ask and listen. When your partner shares her feelings, don't interrupt or try to give advice right away. Just listen and ask for clarification. What's bothering you? How can I help? Avoid devaluing. Phrases such as "don't worry," "it's nothing," or "everything will be fine," "you're just exaggerating," only reinforce her sense of disrespect. Instead, try saying, "I understand that this is a difficult time for you." Learn to notice nonverbal cues. If she looks upset but doesn't say so, try asking gently, "You look upset. Is something wrong?" Leave space for them to express their feelings. You don't always need to find a solution. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just be there to support them. When a man shows empathy, he not only strengthens the relationship, but also shows his inner strength and maturity. Stoicism teaches us to understand that love is not about control, but about support and joint growth. And it starts with paying attention to the most important thing, your partner's feelings. Mistake number 2, excessive control and jealousy. Jealousy and the desire to control your partner is another common mistake that undermines the foundations of a healthy relationship. Men who try to follow their partner's every move, forbid her a certain circle of friends, or impose their own rules of behavior are often motivated by the fear of losing her. But the paradox is that it is control and jealousy that cause feelings to cool and even break up. What's wrong with jealousy? Jealousy is based on self-doubt. It indicates a fear that your partner will find someone better, or a distrust of your choice. In Stoicism, such emotions are called unproductive. They do not give us peace of mind, deprive us of freedom, and prevent us from thinking rationally. The desire to control arises when a man wants to feel strong, but mistakenly chooses pressure and domination instead of trust and self-control. Consequences for the relationship. The partner feels suffocated, deprived of freedom and personal space. Excessive suspicion creates conflicts, resentment, and distrust on her part. A man, focusing on jealousy, loses the chance to build a strong emotional connection. How to avoid this mistake? Develop trust. Remember why you chose this woman: for her honesty, kindness, and love for you. Trust is the foundation of a relationship. No couple can achieve harmony without it. Stoicism reminds us that we can only control our own actions, not those of others. Accept this as a part of life's wisdom. Work on your self-esteem. Jealousy often stems from internal fears or feelings of inferiority. Instead of being afraid of losing your partner, focus on your own development. A self-confident man does not need to be controlled because he knows that he is appreciated. Remember about freedom of choice. Love is not about possession, but about freedom. Your partner stays with you not because of coercion, but because of desire. Recognize her right to a private life, friends, and time for herself. Instead of jealousy, show gratitude. Instead of thinking about who she might meet or where she will go without you, focus on the positive. I am happy to have such a woman by my side. When you are tempted to control, stop and ask yourself, what is in my power now? Will my jealousy solve the problem or make me better? Learn to switch your energy to self-development rather than worrying. A man's true strength lies in his ability to trust. It shows that you are confident in yourself, in your choices, and in your partner. And a woman will reciprocate because trust always works both ways. Mistake number 3, lack of communication about feelings. Silencing feelings and problems is one of the most destructive mistakes in a relationship. Many men avoid talking about their emotions because it seems like a sign of weakness or a waste of time. But the truth is that emotional isolation gradually destroys relationships because it deprives them of the most important thing: mutual understanding. Why do men keep silent? Social stereotypes. Men are taught from childhood to keep it all in and be strong. But this strength often turns into coldness and an inability to openly express their thoughts and feelings. Fear of vulnerability. Sharing feelings means exposing your weaknesses. Men are afraid that this may make them less attractive or cause judgment. Inability to talk about emotions. If a man has never practiced such conversations, it may be difficult for him to find the right words. Consequences for the relationship. Unresolved conflicts accumulate, turning into distance between partners. A woman feels misunderstood and begins to wonder if she is important to her partner at all. Emotional intimacy, which is key to building healthy relationships, is lost. How to avoid this mistake? Start small. You don't need to get into deep conversations right away. Start with simple phrases. I didn't like the way we argued today, or I feel like something is wrong between us. Let's talk. Be honest. It's important to tell the truth about your feelings, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality and not be afraid to be sincere. Listen to the answer. Communication is a dialogue, not a monologue. When you share your feelings, also be ready to listen to your partner. Show that it is important for you to know how she perceives the situation. Discuss problems rather than blame. Instead of saying, "You always do it wrong," say, "I feel uncomfortable when this happens. Let's try to find a solution together." Practice regular conversations. Make open conversations a habit. For example, spend one evening a week discussing your feelings, needs, and desires. This will help avoid the accumulation of unresolved issues. Stoicism reminds us that controlling our emotions does not mean ignoring them. On the contrary, true strength is the ability to honestly recognize your feelings and share them with your loved ones. Your partner will appreciate your openness because it shows your maturity and desire to work on the relationship. When a man talks openly about his feelings, it creates trust and a deeper emotional connection. The woman begins to feel heard and understood, which in turn strengthens the relationship. Remember that silence is not a solution. A real man has the courage to say what he feels. Mistake number 4, emotional coldness. Many men mistakenly believe that showing tenderness or emotional support makes them weak. This can make them seem distant, indifferent, or even indifferent to their partner's feelings. Emotional coldness, though often unintentional, destroys relationships by creating distance between partners. What causes emotional coldness? Fear of looking vulnerable. For many men, it is important to always remain strong, which often means hiding their feelings. Inability to express emotions. Not all men were raised in an environment where tenderness was considered the norm. Misconception of masculinity. The idea that a man should be a stone wall without emotions and weaknesses is outdated, but still affects behavior. How does this affect relationships? Emotional coldness creates a barrier between partners. A woman begins to feel unnecessary, unappreciated, and invisible. Lack of tenderness or support can lead to a loss of trust, alienation, and even a search for warmth and attention from others. Find a balance between strength and emotions. Stoic understanding of emotions. Stoicism teaches that emotions are a natural part of human life. Controlling them does not mean suppressing them, but using them consciously. In relationships, this means being able to be strong, but at the same time open to tenderness and support. Demonstrate tenderness in simple things. You don't need to make grand gestures to show your partner your attention. A simple touch, a warm look, and supportive words can have a huge impact. Phrases like, "I'm here for you," "You'll make it," or "I'm proud of you" can strengthen her faith in your relationship. Pay attention. Pay attention to her emotional state. If she looks sad or tired, offer to help or just ask how she feels. Support is not always about solving problems. Sometimes it's just about listening. Don't be afraid of tenderness. Tenderness does not make a man weak. On the contrary, it shows his self-confidence. A real man is not afraid to express his feelings because he knows that it does not humiliate him, but strengthens the relationship. Practice gratitude. Regularly remind your partner that you appreciate her presence in your life. Stoicism encourages us to appreciate the moments and people around us because everything in the world is transient. Instead of avoiding emotions, Stoicism suggests accepting them as a part of life. It is important to realize that showing support or tenderness is your strength, not your weakness. This helps to create a balance between masculinity and sensitivity. Emotional intimacy is what makes relationships alive and real. Being open to tenderness and support will not only help your partner feel loved, but also strengthen your life together. The real strength of a man is the ability to love and be there when it is needed most. Mistake number 5, unrealistic expectations. Many men, whether consciously or not, expect their partner to live up to the ideal image created by their perceptions or social standards. They want her to always be smart, caring, flawless in appearance, emotionally stable, and at the same time, an interesting conversationalist. But such expectations are unrealistic. Why is this a problem? Idealization destroys reality. No one can live up to an ideal image, even if it seems attainable. Your partner is a real person with her own flaws, just like you. Disappointment is inevitable. The higher the expectations, the greater the likelihood of disappointment when your partner does not live up to these unrealistic demands. This creates tension and conflict. Decreased appreciation. By focusing on what could be better, you lose the ability to appreciate what you have now. How does this affect relationships? Your partner may start to feel like she's not good enough or that she doesn't meet your expectations. This undermines her self-confidence, makes her doubt your love, and gradually creates distance. The relationship becomes not about acceptance and support, but about dissatisfaction and finding fault. Accepting reality and being grateful for your partner. Rethink your expectations. Stoicism reminds us that the world is not what we want it to be, but what it is. Instead of striving for an ideal, learn to accept reality. Your partner is not perfect, but that is her uniqueness and beauty. Focus on her virtues. Instead of noticing flaws, focus on positive traits. Her kindness, caring, strength, or sense of humor. Think about why you chose her, and remind yourself of this when you are tempted to criticize. Cultivate gratitude. Every day, practice gratitude for what your partner brings to your life. Tell her that you appreciate her. "I'm grateful for your support. You always know how to cheer me up." This will not only strengthen your relationship, but also make you appreciate what you have. Learn to accept her flaws. Your partner may have habits or traits that annoy you, but instead of dwelling on it, accept them as part of her personality. Your love shouldn't be based on trying to change her, but on wanting to be there for who she is. Develop your own virtues. Sometimes high expectations of others are the result of dissatisfaction with ourselves. Stoicism encourages you to focus on what you can control, and that is your own development. Be the person who brings more support, love, and acceptance to the relationship. When you think that your partner could be better, stop and ask yourself, do I meet her expectations? Am I perfect? Stoicism teaches us to channel our energy into gratitude and harmony rather than fighting reality. Accepting reality is the first step to true love. Unrealistic expectations only create tension, while gratitude and acceptance build a solid foundation for relationships. Remember, true love is not about looking for an ideal, but about the ability to appreciate a person for who they are. Mistake number 6, neglecting personal boundaries. One of the most serious mistakes in a relationship is neglecting your partner's personal boundaries. Everyone has their own needs for personal space, time for themselves, and emotional space. When these boundaries are not respected, it can lead to burnout, emotional exhaustion, and even a breakup. Why is this a problem? Loss of individuality. Without respect for personal boundaries, a partner feels as if their identity is only identified through the relationship and not as a separate individual. This leads to a loss of self-respect and a decrease in self-confidence. Increased tension. When a person is constantly under pressure from their partner, they may begin to experience emotional stress. As a result, even small misunderstandings can lead to serious conflicts. Insufficient space for self-improvement. People need time for themselves, for their hobbies, work, and personal interests. When this space is limited, it can lead to a sense of imprisonment in the relationship. How does this affect relationships? Disregard for personal boundaries can lead to alienation and lower quality relationships. When one partner doesn't give the other the opportunity to relax or express themselves, the relationship becomes toxic. The person begins to feel dependent or overwhelmed, which can lead to dissatisfaction and even despair. Solution: respect your partner's boundaries and your own. Be attentive to the signals. Everyone has their own individual needs for personal space. If your partner wants some alone time or is doing his or her own thing, don't take it as a sign of disengagement or ignoring. This is normal and necessary for emotional balance. Discuss your needs. Open communication is key to maintaining healthy boundaries. If it is important for you to have time for yourself, tell your partner, "It is important for me to have time to recover so that I can be a better partner for you." Respect each other's space. Do not violate your partner's boundaries without permission, even if it seems harmless. For example, don't control their social media or invade their privacy without a good reason. This can cause feelings of mistrust and conflict. Keep a balance. Stoicism teaches that life is a constant balance between one's own needs and responsibilities to others. By respecting your partner's space, you not only provide them with time for themselves, but also allow the relationship to develop in a healthy way, preserving the individuality of each partner. Practice self-improvement. It is important that each partner has the opportunity to develop personally. This not only enriches the relationship, but also allows you to maintain healthy boundaries. When everyone pursues their own interests, it allows the relationship to be more harmonious. Stoicism teaches that balance and inner peace are important for personal development. To respect boundaries is to show wisdom in understanding that needs for personal space and time are natural and healthy aspects of life. Everyone has a right to their own space, and this is not an act of alienation, but rather a basis for a deeper emotional connection. Do not neglect your partner's personal boundaries and your own. They are the foundation of a healthy and lasting relationship. By respecting them, you create space for growth, support, and authentic connection. Love doesn't mean being present in each other's lives all the time. It also means being able to be at a distance when needed and respecting the other's needs. Mistake number 7, not paying enough attention to yourself. Often in relationships, men tend to forget about their own well-being, focusing all their efforts on their partner or on the relationship in general. They may begin to neglect their health, physical and emotional well-being, which can lead to burnout, stress, and a decrease in the quality of the relationship. Not only does self-neglect worsen personal well-being, but it also affects relationships. Why is this a problem? Emotional burnout. When a man puts his partner's needs first, neglecting his own, it can lead to emotional exhaustion. You start to feel exhausted, tired, and dissatisfied, and this inevitably affects the quality of interaction with your partner. Decreased self-esteem. Lack of attention to your own development and health can lead to a feeling that you are not important. This negatively affects your self-esteem and may even create a sense of inferiority. Pressure on relationships. When a man doesn't take care of himself, he becomes less attractive and emotionally available to his partner. This can create a distance between you because your partner will start to feel that you don't take care of yourself and therefore can't fully care for her. How does this affect the relationship? Insufficient attention to yourself can lead to a loss of energy and motivation, which will directly affect the quality of the relationship. Your partner may begin to feel that your relationship has become one-sided, and this may affect her feelings for you. In addition, if you don't take care of your health or development, it can make your partner start to worry about your well-being, which creates additional stress. Taking care of your physical and mental health. Regular physical activity. Pay attention to your body. Working out, going for a walk in the fresh air, or playing sports not only improves your physical health, but also helps you recover emotionally. When you feel physically well, your mood and energy levels also improve, which has a positive impact on relationships. Mental health and self-development. Create time for self-development. Read books, listen to lectures, develop new skills. This will help you not only restore your inner balance, but will also become the basis for interesting conversations and deeper interaction with your partner. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of inner peace. So engage in meditation or other practices that help keep your mind clear and calm. Proper nutrition and sleep patterns. Taking care of your physical health means eating right and getting enough sleep. Your energy and mood directly depend on what you eat and how much time you take to rest. Balance between relationships and personal time. Don't be afraid to set aside time for yourself, whether it's for a hobby or for solitude. This is important not only for maintaining emotional balance, but also for keeping your relationship fresh and healthy. You'll be a better partner if you have the opportunity to recharge your batteries and interests. Be an example for your partner. Taking care of yourself is also taking care of your relationship. If you are engaged in your own development and health, it can be an incentive for your partner. She will see how important it is to pay attention to her own well-being, which can lead to a stronger mutual connection. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of inner peace and harmony, and this is impossible without physical and emotional balance. Self-respect and self-development are at the core of the Stoic approach. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't be useful to yourself or your partner. Taking care of yourself is not selfishness, but a necessity for a healthy relationship. When you have energy and inner peace, it helps you interact better with your partner and helps strengthen your bond. Your ability to be in harmony with yourself is the foundation for harmony in a relationship. Mistake number 8, striving to be right all the time. Attitudes towards conflict in relationships are critical, and one of the most destructive mistakes is the constant desire to be right. When a man focuses on winning a discussion or proving himself right, it often escalates the conflict and makes it difficult to understand each other. The pursuit of the truth can cause stress, resentment, and even a breakup if it's more important to prove that you're right instead of finding a solution. Why is this a problem? Devaluing your partner. If you are always trying to win an argument, it can look like you are disrespecting the other person's opinion. By constantly proving yourself right, you are putting yourself above your partner, which can make them feel humiliated or devalued. Emotional detachment. Conflicts due to the desire to be right often do not end positively. This creates a barrier in the relationship, because even when the dispute is over, both partners may be left with feelings of resentment and unresolved emotions. Loss of emotional connection. If the desire to be right is always the main motive during a discussion, it reduces the level of emotional intimacy. Instead of understanding each other, you focus on winning the argument. How does this affect relationships? The constant desire to win conflicts can lead to chronic arguments where each partner seeks to prove their point of view. This destroys emotional intimacy and can make relationships tense and filled with alienation. As a result, you may lose the ability to engage in constructive dialogue as well as to grow the relationship. Admitting mistakes and being willing to compromise. Admit your mistakes. Admit your mistakes without fear or shame. If you realize you were wrong, don't be afraid to say so. Admitting your mistake not only reduces tension, but also demonstrates maturity and willingness to grow. It creates an atmosphere of mutual respect. Focus on solving the problem, not winning. During conflicts, remember that the goal is not to win the discussion, but to solve the problem. It is important not only to express your point of view, but also to find a common solution that suits both partners. Compromise should be the main goal of every dispute. Active listening. Instead of trying to convince your partner that you are right, focus on listening. Ask yourself, why does she feel this way? And give your partner the opportunity to express their thoughts. This will help you understand each other better and open up the possibility of compromise. Leave room for differences. It is important to realize that there is not always a one right decision in a relationship. Sometimes the right thing to do is not to be right, but to find a common understanding. If you accept that not all issues can be resolved by being right, this will create space for the development of healthier and more harmonious relationships. Learning Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what is out of our control. Giving up the desire to always be right is an important step toward inner harmony and healthier relationships. Stoicism teaches us to be humble and to recognize that we are not always entitled to all truths. Instead of striving to win in a conflict, we need to realize that true wisdom lies in the willingness to change our point of view when necessary. Do not be afraid to admit your mistakes and work to ensure that conflicts do not become a field for fighting for the right, but an opportunity for mutual development and understanding. Your ability to compromise and find a common solution will strengthen your relationship and allow you to achieve harmony, both in your relationship and in your personal life. In this video, we looked at 8 common mistakes men make in relationships and learned how to avoid them in order to build healthier and more harmonious relationships. Each of these mistakes, from ignoring your partner's emotions to always being right, can have a serious impact on a relationship. But it's important to remember that there is always an opportunity to change our behavior, and we can apply the principles of Stoicism to do so. Stoicism helps us develop inner peace, self-control, and empathy. It teaches us that true power is not in being right or in controlling a situation, but in maintaining harmony, listening, and being willing to compromise. This is the path to healthy relationships. I want to hear your opinion. Which of these mistakes have you encountered in your relationships? How do you deal with them? Share your experience in the comments. It might help others. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if it was helpful, and watch other videos on our channel where I share Stoic principles for every day. Thank you for watching. And remember, harmony starts with us.